Hello, all. Welcome to the channel. I hope everyone had a beautiful Monday, Tuesday, depending on, or Sunday, depending on where you are in the world. Um, we are going live. This is awkward going live during the week. I tried to, we'll get back to Sundays for sure. Um, Hopefully by this Sunday. But I want to welcome everyone to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Nisha, i.e., Mocha is me, and we are going to be discussing life wonders and YSL. So sometimes we trail off and just discuss life. So, because at the end of the day, the YSL discussion is the life discussion. Um, I know that we're going to be getting ready to head to trial soon with the next four, but what has been going on in the world of YSL as of lately? As I was putting together my clips um, for for today's stream, actually, I realized that there is so much going on right now, as we knew it would after Shell Kale got released. Um, so essentially, I don't know who that is. Shell Kale got out, fairly silent for a while. He then decides to go on, I believe it's DJ U's channel, to stream an interview, which is interesting because in the interview, he basically was venting about how irritated and annoyed he was that the public was accepting of Woody because he's a rat. And he even had a rat on the couch during this interview. Him and the interviewer, the DJU guy, actually got into like a small little tisk, if you will, um, where clearly it seemed that Shokel was getting frustrated and irritated. However, the interviewer was able to kind of turn it around. It kind of seemed more like a venting session than an actual interview. I mean, a lot of the questions that he asked regarding to Donovan Thomas, i.e. Big Nut, Shokel didn't want to answer. He just admitted that that type of stuff frustrated him. The questions that he would answer about Woody was more along the lines of the dude who's presenting himself now isn't the dude who he really is. Which, if you take into account that Woody went to prison, went to the feds, he went to federal prison, went to state prison, and then gave his life to God, he admitted he's not the same person he was back when they were all at odds and into it. So I believe that that's kind of immature to say, very immature to say, because Woody admits that he's changed. My hope and prayer is that Shokel has changed, you know. However, there seemed to be a lot of frustration in his interview. I basically took it as a lot of the pot calling the kettle black. You mad at the interviewers for paying Woody to do interviews, saying that basically he's a rat and he's doing all this for clout. However, you then turn around and do interviews because you are willing to capitalize on the opportunity to tell your side of the story, even if it isn't the whole story that you're willing to tell, which is fine. You can tell just what you want to tell. It's your story to tell. But we all, and we all see things for what they are. Woody says, even though the reasoning that I'm making this money didn't come from a positive reason and it stemmed from something that I did, like he caused the issue. So essentially, he caused his own fame because he's the one that lied on the boys and got them locked up, because it took Fulton County DA's office, 8-9 years to put together a case based on some crap he said years and years ago. But then, because of how he handled himself on the stand, it intrigued the public. More than anybody, it intrigued the people around Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta is not LA. If it was LA, he probably wouldn't have been received the way he was received. But can we all just agree to disagree that Atlanta is different? Like they say, Atlanta dudes is different. Atlanta chicks is different. Atlanta criminal justice system is different. And clearly the way the public feels about certain type of stuff is different. The way they rap is different. So yeah, they handled it a little differently. However, I did happen to catch this little snippet of Woody responding. There are certain things that people would say when Woody was on the stand, and it would trigger him. For instance, when they talked about the fight at Club Crucial that Monday before Donovan Thomas was unalived, and when they would specifically say, when you got beat, when you got punched in the head, when you got jumped, he would get very frustrated with those line of comments because for whatever reason. And maybe some of it was him trying to control his internal self to not lash out the way he wanted to, you know? He'd be like, maybe internally talking to himself and saying, hey, calm down. Don't get upset. Don't get upset. Don't get upset. This is their job. This is what they have to do. Sho'ked Kale in his interview did something very similar. And it was like there's a videotape of him basically getting beat down or whatever, however you want to say it. So Woody responds. And Woody basically say, we all out here trying to live our lives, take care of our families, be with our kids. Let's continue to do that. Now, y'all can take that how y'all want to, but I heard that message loud and clear. And I don't think you have to be a street dude or a street chick to understand what that means. Ain't no point of all of us ending up in jail again because everybody want to open up a can of worms that ain't nobody willing to deal with. And maybe people are willing to deal with that. But other people involved are ready to move on with their life. SB didn't realize that, Kayla then showed him this YouTube money can be very lucrative. He trying to do his own thing. Some people actually got to serve time on their plea deals. Moon Tung back in jail. Cornelius Nichols in jail. Marquavius Huey's in jail. It don't have to be drama. I think Pimp C said it a long time ago. What reasons is it for people to really beef in this rap game? For real. There's enough room for us all out here to get money. Sho'ked can go and sell his interviews. People will be willing to pay top dollar for those interviews. They already got Woody's sides of things. To have his side of things would be very lucrative for him. And the same as Woody within like 6-8 months. Within what? Yeah, because that happened in like June. It's just now December. It's just not about to be January. And that boy done bought him what? A Maybach or maybe a Rolls Royce, something like that. Bought a house. Bought 2 cars. Got money in the bank. His interview rate then went up to 30 racks an interview. Shokel may do a couple of interviews at, 10 G's, 5 G's, whatever. Do you a couple 20 versus ones and get your bank up, because you got a story to tell. You got an insight that no one else has. You have the insight to Donovan Thomas. Write a book. Somebody gonna buy it. Guaranteed. I just think that. So I was watching, that's kind of where this thought process coming from. I was watching this interview that was done. Pimp C called into this radio station. This is back in like 2005 when he was like banging with a bunch of rappers out of Atlanta. And he was saying that people were rapping about stuff that they weren't doing, so he was frustrated about it. Well, his frustration was that now we have an opportunity using our rap platforms to go out here and to do something like we've never been able to do before. Because prior to that, even if you got into the rap game, people weren't willing to pay you like the way they started to pay you in the 2000s. Like now, I could probably make up a song and put it on some type of site and make money off of it. I can't rap to save my life though, so whatever. But basically what he was saying is we are starting to break down barriers that we've never done before. Let's not turn this into an issue, because if we do, the government, the powers that be, are going to find a way to take it away from us. How many rappers have been arrested this year alone? Rapping is resulting in people being millionaires very quickly. But people are losing everything that they worked for, because at the end of the day, you have to pay somebody to fight your case for you. So as soon as you get it, you're starting to lose it, So that was my little tidbit of for today. I really hope that people will work harder at trying to hold on to what they have, especially if it's something that is lucrative for you. You don't have to take yourself to a point where you have to run anymore. Because if you go out there and you commit crimes, you either one have to turn yourself in, you got to run, or you got to hope something happens to you before you get caught. And your life don't have to look like that. It can look different. So be different. Take them out. Ibuprofen. So, anyways, that's my little that for that. However, on higher notes, guys, tomorrow is New Year's Eve. We're going to be going into a new year, doing things. I don't even want to say do things different. Let's just try to be consistent on what we do. So I'm pulling up the Shokel interview. I don't even know what the heck that is. Okay. All right. Because we're just going to be analyzing this, we'll just listen to a little. I think. No. No, I don't want to listen to that one. This is the different podcast. That's not the one I meant to click on. There's this podcaster I listen to. He has a really good podcast, but that's not what I want to play. I wanted to play the Woody response. I don't want it on Mickey Truth. Where is it? Let me see if I can find it. I'm trying to find it, guys. I feel like I'm on the struggle bus. Let's see if I can find it. So if what I said makes sense, it's not just anger that you hear in his voice, it's hurt. He's hurt. He hasn't processed his brother being gone. Like he hasn't processed it and healed from it. He's more than angry. He's hurt. And until he even starts to do that, he won't be able to heal and move past it. The moment may present itself where those two men are in the same vicinity with one another. And if that is not processed, something is going to happen that's going to end one of them back up in the system. It's guaranteed. He is, it's not that he's bitter about Woody's success. He's angry that people are glorifying the person that he feels is responsible to doing that to someone he loves. If you've ever lost someone, that will make sense to you. If you've ever lost someone tragically, that will make even more sense to you. But it's not that he's bitter that Woody is successful. He's bitter at why he is successful. In his mind, this person did this to my family, and you guys are paying him to tell these stories about it. So for him, it's like bragging, so to speak. And that is why he is so angry. The more Woody tells his truth, the more that truth encompasses Donovan Thomas, the more Shell is angry, because at the end of the day, a life was still lost, and a life that was very close to him was lost. And that, to me, is what I analyze as his frustration. I don't have a better way of breaking it down past that. But if you listen to that whole interview in its entirety, and I think it's cut to about an hour and 35 minutes, that is what you're going to get from it, because he is angry. He's angry. And at the end of the day, he lost somebody. He has the right to be angry, but he's also unhealed. He has not healed. He hasn't healed from his loss. He hasn't accepted his loss. He hasn't moved on past his loss. He is still probably trapped at that same, on that same day, at that same time in January. He's probably still mentally, when it comes to discussions about Big Nut, still trapped at the day he was shot. And I imagine it's probably even worse if some of his bitterness may be because he may have been there. He may have been there and he may have not been able to prevent it. And so it's like also like a self-reflection, like a self-anger. But that's just my analyzation of that. Let see. Oh, sorry. I went to something else. Oh, wow. That is my son stomping around people. So I am so sorry. I swear I think that's him just running around. It's got to be. It's too loud. Yeah, it's DJ UTV. Let's see here. That was he talks about wife and Luigi. Now, I want to also bring up something that he asked Shokel in this interview. The trio, Shokel, Muntunk, and Trivia. He speaks on it. He admits it wasn't no relationship. They was just on some smash and grab type stuff. He was like that. Basically, Muntunk got emotional about the smash and grab. So it kind of like plays into that whole thought process. Of Muntunk man got caught up doing some BS. So Trivia was on some get back and started messing with, the alt. So it was really interesting that um interview. I think it was an opportunity for him to sit down and see what type of questions, if he decides to pursue this, he'll be asked. Good, bad, or indifferent. And then at the end of the day, he's going to be the one to decide whether or not he want to answer those questions. And then other people are going to decide whether or not they want to continue to interview him. It is what it is. So I can appreciate where that went, but I also can appreciate where it's going. Let's see here. Oh, interesting. Hmm. 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 So I am now going to find some more of our old but new, exciting YSL trial days. Oh my God. Why is I here? Why is I'm here? Mhm. This boy will not catch me a break. Mm. Let's see here. I'm trying to find my. This is what you get for saving it all to your playlist, and then it's easy to find on my phone, but it's hard to find on my laptop for some reason. Oh, okay. So let's go. Let me see if I can pull this up. Here we go. Present. Gotta miss it. Oh, I forget. This is what, 20 minutes of just sitting there?
Probably be Tuesday or Wednesday, actually.
All right, so we got a little more time. Hey, were all the defense counsel able to listen to those jail
Hold on.
calls
Let me go
that the
back.
state was going to play this week, the ones that we're trying to listen to Friday?
This is more so for the introduction of evidence last minute and given to the defense and determine how the judge rules on it. I need to figure out what I did with those.
All right, good morning, counsel. Interested parties. We're back on the record of the matter of the state of Georgia versus Khalif Adams et al. in 22 SC 183572. I'm going to take roll. Mr. Stilwell, Mr. Botts, and Mr. Shark. Good morning, gentlemen. Mr. Williams, Mr. Steele, Mr. Adams, and Mr. Renard. Good morning. All right, Mr. Kendrick and Mr. Weinstein. Good morning. All right, Mr. Huey and Mr. Matthews Sr. Good morning. All right, Mr. Nichols and Mr. Harvey and Ms. Westmoreland. Good morning. Mr. Ryan and Mr. Williams. Good morning. All right. Mr. Brown, Mr. Smith, Mr. Uhelski, Mr. Atkins, and ladies, Ms. Love and Ms. Hilton. Okay, matter of housekeeping before we go ahead and get started. Our juror that was ill last week is back with us and has provided me a return to work notice, which I will mark as the next court's exhibit in order and place under seal, consistent with what I indicated to you all last week. You're welcome to come and look at it if you like, but that's kind of consistent with what I told you. All right. Mr. Sharp, last week when you were making your argument when we closed off, I did have an opportunity to take a look at the transcript. It was unofficial rough transcript was provided by Ms. Weaver. And I'll include that as the next court's exhibit in order as well. And the colloquy you and Ms. Love had last week are just a brief snippet of that goes as follows. Ms. Love, in your honor, my colleagues are reminding me that this may have been already deemed admissible, but if they're wrong, we're going to play it anyway. And you, your honor, that's a complete misstatement. Me, the court, let me hear it. Mr. Sharp, I brought it to your attention. You said you need to understand the context of everything before you make rulings. And I said, let me hear it. I did take a look at the transcript from our hearing, and I did have a chance, it was also consistent with Mr. Steele's bringing to my attention Baker, and then I heard Stillwell's 1 and 2. I did in fact make a ruling, and the ruling is subject to foundation. But I did state earlier in the hearing that it would be, of course, I'd look at it in terms of context, but I did at the end analysis make a ruling. So it's subject to foundation at this point in time. So I'm satisfied that I made the correct statement. All right. Okay. All right. Consistent with last week, the state did send out the 2 recordings. When are we going to get to those, ladies and gentlemen from the state?
Your Honor, I don't believe that we will reach that today.
Okay.
It will probably be Tuesday or Wednesday, actually.
All right, so we got a little more time. Hey, were all the defense counsel able to listen to those jail calls that the state was going to play this week, the ones that we were trying to listen to Friday? Is there anybody who was not able to open it? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to assume that you all had an opportunity to listen to it. We can take up any issues relative to that later. But unless there's anything else.
Everything is always later.
Who do we have on the stand last? Ms. Landers?
Yes.
Okay, so is she outside? Okay. Is there anything I need to take up before we bring her in? All right, if not, let's go ahead and bring Ms. Latners in, please. Sergeant Ingram, all the jurors present?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. We're going to fast forward a little bit. Okay. We got the tour bus driver up here. We're going to go to that. And this is YSL Day 71, just FYI.
Yeah, that's what we discussed last week. Your Honor.
This is when they
Good
knew
morning,
they had
Mr.
the
Lewis. How are you?
trial
Good morning. How are
in
you?
their hands.
Where are you from?
Los Angeles, California.
And were you born and raised in Los Angeles?
Yes.
And what part of Los Angeles were you born and raised?
Little Merck Park area.
Okay. And how old are you, Mr. Lewis? I know you don't like answering that question.
I don't mind. It's 66.
And are you married?
No.
Do you have any children?
Yes.
How many?
2.
And how old are your children?
Objection on relevance. Full rule, sir.
30 and 40-ish. 40.
All right, you don't really remember. That's okay. And any grandkids?
Yes.
How many?
Just one.
Full rule, sir.
Just one.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Mr. Harvey's asking for the witness to be speaking in the microphone.
Sure.
I heard it, Mr. Harvey. I relayed the message. Okay, all right, sir.
And do you work?
No, I'm retired, actually. I just filed for retirement.
Okay. And where did you retire from?
That night that I was shot. this incident
The
happened.
microphone, sir, if you wouldn't
The
mind.
night that this incident happened is when I retired.
And what was the industry that you retired
I
from?
worked for in the entertainment industry, transporting entertainers, athletes, different people.
And we're going to talk more about that in a moment. In retirement, are you working or doing it and have any hobbies that you're doing while in retirement?
Yeah, I have started a little pizza business
Okay.
to keep me occupied
And how long have you had that business?
for 2
Why
years.
is your boot in my room? Your boot?
Now, you just talked about the night that this happened. You retired from being a tour bus operator. Are you referring to the shooting in April of 2015?
Is he not over there?
Oh, just for purposes of direction. So let's get to it.
A
Thank
lot
you,
of
Ron. Are you
times he
referring to
was
the
over
shooting
there.
in April 2015?
Yes, I
He
am.
over there
As a result of that
worrying
shooting,
about-
do you have a pending civil matter?
Yes, I do.
And who are the defendants in your pending civil matter?
They are listed in the 180-page police report that I have a copy of, and my attorney has a copy of.
Let me ask you this, is YSL Enterprise one of the defendants in your civil matter?
Yes, they are.
And is an individual by the name of Brian Williams, also known as Birdman, a defendant in your pending civil matter?
Yes, he is.
Okay, and what about an individual by the name of Jeffrey Williams?
Yes, he is.
What is the current status of your pending civil matter?
How will you object, sir?
It's actually been on stay since filed.
I can't hear, I'm sorry.
It's been on stay since I filed it after this incident, a couple of years after the incident happened.
And do you know what has caused the delay?
I try not to. I let the lawyers handle that. I try not to get involved with that.
Fully understandable. Do you know what is the amount of damages that are being sought in your pending civil matter?
Somewhere around $30 million.
And does that civil matter have anything to do with why you're testifying today in this case?
Have you seen?
Now, tell the jury a little bit about what you did as a tour bus operator.
It was our duty to maintain the bus,
Mhm.
maintain the safety of passengers, and get from point A to point B as safely as possible, and on time. You know, we had a responsibility for their lives and for their safety.
And you said that you retired. How long were you working prior to you having to retire?
25 years in the bus business.
I'll be
In the
right
next
back.
25 years, was that primarily as the tour bus operator?
Yes. Well, sometimes it would get slow in the season, and I had a car hauling business that I would go home and haul cars. I worked for the studio in LA, and but most of the bus, yes.
In order to be a tour bus operator, you had to have a special license.
I had a Class A from the age of 18.
And for those of us who may not know, what's a Class A?
Mhm.
Class A is pretty much A. You can do pretty much whatever you need to do. You can't haul
I'll be right
explosives. You
back,
can't,
guys.
haul petroleum. I mean, diesel, fuel, gas tanks and stuff. But I was able to do what I.
And is a Class A license the same as a CDL license?
Yes. Yes.
Now, you said you had your tour bus, or excuse me, your CDL license or your Class A license since you were 18. Initially, when you received your license, did you start out as a tour bus operator?
No, I actually first bought a truck, a dump truck, and went out by the airport, taught myself how to drive it, and then went and got my license. A friend of mine drove the truck home, so I wasn't doing anything illegal on the street. So, yeah.
When you were like, let me ask you, are you still licensed? Do you still have your
No,
Class A
I
license?
surrendered it then, back then.
When you had your license, were you licensed in one state or multiple states?
Multiple states.
What were the states you were licensed in?
We were able to go to all the United States and Canada. We drove everywhere.
And I knew you drove everywhere, but who issued you your license?
California did.
Were you issued a license in any other state?
But, I was issued one in Florida because I was working so much in and out of Florida that I didn't have a chance to get back to California to get my license renewed. So I just got it renewed in Florida for a short time. Then when I got back to California, I went back to license in California.
How did you get into the field of tour bus operations?
I was asked to actually to do a tour. I had a Subway sandwich at the time, and I had foot surgery. And a friend of mine was a partner in the tour bus business, and he asked me to do one tour, and I went out and did it, and I liked it, so I ended up selling the Subway sandwich and went on the road.
And I'm sorry, what are you saying about the sandwich?
Yeah, Subway sandwich.
You were selling sandwiches,
I had a Subway sandwich business. Just
like the eatery Subway?
Yeah.
I got you.
yes.
Now, over the course of your 25 years as a tour bus operator, how many companies did you work for?
2.
What was the first company that you worked for?
Florida Coach of America, Entertainment Coaches of America.
Did it have another name as well?
Florida Coach, just Florida Coach. Yeah.
How long did you work for Entertainment Coach or Florida Custom Coach?
I worked for them for 20 years in Yeah, for 20 years.
And do you remember the years that she worked for that company?
No, I don't recall it. No, I don't recall. It's from 1990. I know I saw the subway in the early 90s and went on the road for 20 years. So
Would that be roughly about 2010?
yeah, because yeah, you're right. Yes,
And just to be clear, is Florida Custom Coach and Entertainment Coach the same company?
yes,
And did they have a name change at some point during that 20 years?
yes.
All right. And where is that company located or headquartered?
In Florida,
Do you know where in Florida?
Leesburg.
And did Florida Custom Coach, am I saying it correctly?
Yes.
Do they have a certain type of clientele?
Most of the entertainers, music entertainers, they had some athletes, you know.
Now, you said you worked for them for about 20 years. So roughly in 2010, when you stopped working for Florida Custom Coach, did you work for another company?
Yes, that's when I left and went to Pioneer Coach.
And how long did you work for Pioneer Coaching?
Approximately 5 years,
And what were the years that you worked for Pioneer Coaching?
from 2010 to 2015.
And where's Pioneer Coaching headquartered?
Madison, Tennessee.
In those 5 years that you were working for Pioneer and Coaching Company, were you living in Tennessee?
No, I always lived in Los Angeles. No, I've always lived in Los Angeles.
Tell the truth, if you were living in Los Angeles, how was it that you were able to drive for both Florida Coaching as well as Pioneer Coaching Company?
I'm gonna stand objection. Can I speak up?
Now, we spoke about Florida Custom Coach. The Pioneer Coach specialize in a specific type of clientele.
Pioneer US?
Yes.
Yes, they had pretty much just entertainers as well. They did a lot of country because it was out of Nashville, so they did a lot of country. All the country groups in Nashville, they would deal with a lot of those. So yes,
Do they deal with any other type of clientele outside of the country artists out of Nashville?
yeah, they did. Yes,
What were some of the other types of genres or other artists?
they dealt with some R&B, some rap. They didn't. I don't think they liked doing it, but they the money was there, so they did it. But yeah,
Over the course of 25 years, how many tours have you driven for?
I tried counting. I think I got over 100 different tours at least.
And can you tell the jurors some of the tours that you've driven over the course of your 25 years? Your Honor, it'll be very relevant. As
Hurry up, okay? I'm about to stand the objection, okay? Let's hurry up.
Now, with Pioneer, did they have a fleet of buses?
Yes,
How many different types of buses did they have in the fleet?
they had 2 different types. They had a Star Bus, and then they had a they build buses. So whatever the client wants, they build it for the client's needs.
Can you describe for the jury the design of the buses that you would drive for Pioneer?
Mine was a Star Bus, which had 6 bunks in it and a king size bed in the back. Usually have a shower, and just a nice area, kitchenette, and full refrigerator.
And on some of the tours that you did, with the artists had additional items that they would carry?
Yes, I had one of the clients had I was pulling a car behind, and one of the clients I've had a trailer with all their little toys, and one client had a washer and dryer. She didn't like the sheets.
Oh, sir.
She didn't like she didn't like the sheets in the hotel room, so she washed them before we go up in the room. I mean, excuse me, they would. I mean,
So when you had those specialized items, how would those items be carried?
in trailer behind the bus.
And when artists, and I'm going to speak specifically about Pioneer, would the artist select the type of bus they want, select the type of bus that they wanted?
Yes.
Your Honor, permission to approach?
As long as you show me, that's fine.
We provided PowerPoint that I'll show them again. I'm going to show them what the market is, 34, 35. No, these are just demonstratives right now. You have permission to approach?
You may.
I'm going to show you what the market takes in 34 through 37E. I want you to take a look at those and tell me if 34 to 37E are demonstratives of the types of bus that you would drive when working for Pioneer Coaching.
Yes, they are.
Okay, and are those a fair and accurate depiction of the types of tour bus that you just described to this jury?
Yes, they are.
Your Honor, this time the state would like the Tennessee Exhibit 34E, 35E, 36E, and 37E for demonstrative purposes.
I didn't ask you yet, but I'm going to. Okay, all right. Any objection to states 34 echo through 37 echo? I'm sorry? Okay, is it relevant? Okay, you're speaking objection, so is it relevancy you're objecting on? Okay, anything else? All right, whole rule, sir. Ms. Adams, Overruled. Anybody else? Okay. 34 through 37 Echo is admitted over objection, may be published as you see fit.
Thank you. Now, looking at first exhibit 34E, can you briefly just describe for the jury, overall, we're just gonna focus on the first bus that's in this route of buses. Ideally, the outside, then we'll go on to the inside of how the tour buses generally look when leaving Pioneer Coaching.
This depicts how they look. They're all cleaned up and ready to roll.
When you talked about the trailer, is that the item that's on the back of the first bus?
Yes, it is.
All right. Now looking at exhibit 35E, if you could just orient the jury, and there's a screen to the left of you and a screen to behind you, orient the jury to where you would sit generally inside of this bus, and then describing what we see in 35E.
You only pointed.
Yeah, so we can do one of two things. You can touch the left side of here. Oh. So you should be able to draw on here. We'll just deal with it as we can. Looking at Stacy exhibit 35, just using the arrow or using the marker, if you can point the direction to where you would sit inside of that bus.
I would sit in this area right behind that little wall there.
Okay. And does your seat sit lower than that area that you just pointed to?
A little bit.
All right, guys, I'm back.
And
Really, this one we were only playing
what is this
for.
area? Do you have a name for this area? Or,
I just
Yeah,
wanted
it's a
to
dining
play
area.
where
Chairs
the
and-
judge, this
The table
dude,
for dinner,
is all whiny.
11 o'clock p.m.
around 11.
10, 11 o'clock p.m., I believe.
Mm,
Now, once you got to the compound, did you immediately drop Lil Wayne off at the venue?
No, we parked.
so this is only where we're at? Oh my God.
Exhibits that you're about to show the witness.
Yes, Your Honor. Defense counsel has had an opportunity to look at Stacy exhibit 38 Echo through 108 Echo. Your Honor, today.
Exhibits that you're about to show the witness.
Yes, Your Honor. Defense counsel has had an opportunity to look at Stacy exhibit 38 Echo through 108 Echo. Your Honor, today in court, and also provided in the PowerPoint.
Although the students, okay, and dudes start crying.
And look at first
It's
Stacy
just so
exhibit.
annoying.
And I just ignored it.
What about, did you notice anything about the demeanor about the person who was kind of, the other person who was walking around the bus?
No, they seemed like they were just up to doing something.
I stand objection.
When you said that Lil Wayne individuals rushed out of the compound onto your bus, did any of them appear to be angry?
Yeah, the manager was quite angry about something and pretty much cussed me out. I mean, we've been out on tour before and never had any situation like that.
Outside the manager, any of the individuals who got on the bus?
No.
Yeah, that's fine. Just put your bows. No, don't put that in the back. Put your pom poms and your bows in that bag, and then put all the other stuff in the trash bag.
As you all were being escorted to 285 with a police escort, did anyone on the bus appear upset or angry prior to the shooting occurring?
I didn't pay attention. I was focused on
I think the blue ones are little.
the escort.
We'll do that.
When the white car drove past you on 285 and it pulled over on the side, if you can remember, how far was your bus, from where that car pulled over on the side? About how many car lengths between where your bus was and when they pulled over to the side?
I recall it wasn't a car length. It was about a half a mile or so. They kept on and went on up. And I saw where they were going, and I saw them pull over.
Okay.
Court indulgence for a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh. Oh.
Cross. Mr. Sharp.
Oh, this is Carly's shirt. Let me throw that in the bathroom.
Mr. Lewis,
In the dirty
Yes,
good afternoon, sir.
good afternoon.
My name is Max Shard. I represent Shannon Stillwell. Okay?
Okay,
Just gonna ask you a few questions. The bus that you were driving, Lil Wayne's security was on that bus, correct?
yes.
And that man's name is James Mulvey, correct?
I know him as a Jim. That's what I know him as.
You know him as Jim?
Yes,
Okay. On direct, you testified that you were the only person who spoke to police that night. Jim, in fact, spoke to police that night as well, correct?
I believe so. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I can't say yes or no.
Okay. Now, we heard your 911 tape, the 911 call, and you also gave a statement to the police that night at the hotel, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and you were willing to cooperate with the police, correct?
Yes,
In fact, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, you wanted to prosecute this case, correct?
no.
Well, the police asked you if you're willing to prosecute, and you in fact answered that you were wanting to prosecute the case that night.
Okay.
Okay, so certainly you wanted to, when you gave your statement to the police, you didn't hold back any information, did you?
Well, when you have a CDL, which is federally governed, I just can't choose not to speak.
I understand.
So I did what I'm supposed to do.
I understand. And you wanted to give the police as many details as possible about what you had seen.
Well, I had a job that I had to maintain. And if I didn't cooperate, I'm sure my company, Pioneer, would have probably told me, because they had insurance, I'm sure, if I didn't cooperate and say,
Outstanding objection.
Okay, well, I don't want to get too far off field.
Okay.
All I'm asking is, when you gave your statement to the police, you wanted to give them accurate details about what you had observed.
that's my job, yes.
Okay, and you weren't seeking to leave anything out, correct?
No.
Okay. And so I want to talk to you about what you've testified here today. You, as I understand it, you're driving the bus, you hear what you perceive as gunshots, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you were on the front, in the driver's seat of the bus, front left of the bus, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And after hearing gunshots, you saw two cars speed past the bus on the left.
Correct.
Okay. And eventually these cars ended up pulling over on the right side of the road past the exit that you were getting off.
Correct.
Okay. And when I say you wanted to give all the details, you could. When I say two cars, there were only two cars that sped past you on the left, correct?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay. And one of those cars you've testified was a white sports car, correct?
I testified it was a Corvette.
Okay. Oh, we were going to get to that. White Corvette. And you actually said that you saw flashes coming out of that car, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And the second car behind the white Corvette, I want to talk to you about that car. That was a white truck, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that's what you've always said, a white truck, correct?
That's what I remember at 85 miles an hour, yes.
Okay. And those were, to the best of your recollection, the only two cars that you saw pass the bus, correct?
Correct.
Okay. In all of your statements, you have never, or you did not see, let me just start with this. You did not see a blue SUV that night, did you?
I don't recall that.
Okay. You do not recall seeing a blue SUV.
I don't recall that.
And you certainly did not see a blue SUV passing the bus at the time of the gunshots, correct?
I don't recall that.
Okay. Thank you, court's indulgence.
Yes, sir.
I have nothing further to add.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Mr. Adams? Sure.
Mr. Lewis, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good
My
afternoon.
name is Keith Adams, and I represent Jeffrey Williams. You don't know Jeffrey Williams, do you?
No.
He is, however, someone who is named in your lawsuit that you have filed. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you are, as you sit here, you are a witness in this criminal case, true?
Yes.
You've been subpoenaed as a witness to come in and testify.
I've been subpoenaed, yes.
Right. And you are also the plaintiff in a lawsuit that you have brought against Jeffrey Williams, right?
Yes.
Let's see, Brian Birdman Williams, correct?
Correct.
Cash Money Records, right?
Correct.
Young Money Records, right?
Correct.
Let's see, Jimmy Carlton Winfrey, correct?
Correct.
And YSL Corporation, the company. Is that true?
That's true.
Okay. You have brought that suit, and you are in fact suing those individuals based on the incident that occurred on April 26th of 2015. Is that right?
That's right.
All right. Now, I want to kind of get to the crux of this. I want to ask you questions about the incident, but would I be correct in saying that at no time on either April 25th, 2015, or April 26th of 2015 did you ever see Jeffrey Williams? That's true?
That's true.
All right. In fact, based on the lawsuit that you filed, you know that on the night of April 25th into April 26th of 2015, you know that Jeffrey Williams was hundreds of miles away when this incident occurred. Don't you know that?
I don't know that.
All right. That's not information that you've garnered during the course of your lawsuit?
It's been a lot. I don't try to recollect all that stuff.
You don't know what's going on in the lawsuit that you brought?
Yeah, I do.
Lasting objection.
Okay. Is the company that you were driving for that night, Pioneer? Is that right?
Yes.
Are they party to the lawsuit against Jeffrey Williams?
No, they're not.
It's just you, right?
Yes.
And that is a $30 million lawsuit that you have brought against someone that you didn't even see that night. True?
True.
Matter of fact, Brian Birdman Williams, you didn't see him that night either, did you?
No.
Okay. If I heard you correctly, you were not able to describe to the police or any detective or anyone any description of anyone who did any shooting on the night of the 25th going into the 26th. Is that true?
That's correct.
You didn't see anyone, did
That's
you?
correct.
In fact, when you were, when you testified earlier about this person who walked up to you and asked for Al, you remember that?
Yes.
You didn't give a description, or you weren't asked to give a description of that person to the police at any point, were you?
No.
Clear something up for me. You said it was odd that the person came and asked for Al, right?
Right.
Your name is Al, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. And today is not the first time that you have been called upon to give testimony about the incident of the 25th and 26th. Is that true?
This is the first time I called to testify. Yes.
Have you had a deposition as part of your $30 million lawsuit
Yes,
against
I have.
Mr. Williams?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And in that deposition, you were asked questions by attorneys, correct?
Correct.
And you were asked to recount the incidents or the incident on the 25th going into the 26th. Is that true?
Yes.
All right. And you were able to recount and give them as many details as you could remember from that night.
As I remember, yes.
All right. Now, this is 2015, or the incident is 2015. So we're talking about
9 years.
9 years ago. Is that
Yes.
true? And it's fair to say that it's a very traumatic incident, right?
Very much so.
So much so, I mean, obviously, I've noticed that you've been upset. You're crying out. You were upset. I understand. You've been testifying about this. Isn't that right?
Yes, it is.
Now, the 911 call that we heard a little bit earlier, true to say, that was you on that 911 call, right?
Yes.
And you were able to hold it together. You were very calm when you were making that 911 call, true?
True.
You were able to give whatever details you gave during that 911 call very calmly while the bus was being shot at, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I heard, you tell me if you heard the same thing, on the 911 call, when you were giving the description about this white car and a white truck, there was someone in the background who was kind of telling you, yeah, it was a white car or something like that. Do you remember hearing that?
Yes.
Okay, who was that person that was talking to you at that time?
Probably was Jim.
Probably.
He was the one next to me. There was a lot, like 12 people on the bus, so I'm not sure who was the one behind me in my ear, but it probably was Jim, which was next to me.
That would be James Mulvey, right?
I don't know his name. I know him from Jim. I don't know his full name.
Okay, Jim is the person that we've described as the security guy, right?
Yes.
He is Lil Wayne's security person.
Yes.
Okay, now, so we hear who you think is Jim talking to you, giving a description of the car, right?
Yes.
Okay, now, and we heard your 911 call. What about Dwayne Carter, Lil Wayne? Where was he when this was going on?
Objection made when the button was on.
All right,
Lasting objection. You can rephrase, sir.
I will, thank you. When the shooting was going on or when you were making that 911 call, where was Lil Wayne?
He was somewhere on the bus. The curtain was drawn. I can't look behind myself and dodge bullets. So I don't know. That was not my concern at the time. My concern was to make sure that the bus was safe so everybody would be safe.
Do you know whether or not he called 911 at any time while this incident was taking place? Do you know?
That Wayne did?
Yes, sir.
I don't know that.
Okay. Let me jump back a little bit, okay? Because I heard you say that you drove from Miami to Atlanta on the night of the 25th, or the day of the 25th, true?
Yes.
Okay. So you drive to Atlanta, and instead of going to the Mandarin Hotel, because you guys have been on the road for 9.5 hours and it was almost time to be at the club, you went directly to the club.
Yes.
Okay. You park the vehicle. Mr. Carter, Lil Wayne gets off, and he ends up going inside of the club, the compound, right?
Yes.
Okay. You are out there for a while. I think you said an hour to an hour and a half. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, a few hours, yes.
Okay. And essentially, you're waiting for Lil Wayne to get done, right?
Right.
I heard you describe the scene out there as you said there were all sorts of people out there on the road, on the street. Is that right? Outside the club.
Yes.
It was pretty crowded.
Yes.
There were a lot of people, right?
Right.
And at some point, you got out and you kind of did a walk around of the bus before Lil Wayne came back to the bus. Is that right?
That's right.
Now, as you do that walk around, that's when this guy comes up to you and asks about Al. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And he was by himself.
There was another guy with. There's two of them.
Okay, so two came up initially,
Yeah, one was the talker, and the other one was, I don't know, he was with him.
just there with him, right?
Yeah.
Anybody else around those two guys?
Not that I recall.
Okay, so it wasn't that a whole crowd of 25 or 30 people came up to you. It was these two guys, one of whom asked you, where's Al, or is Al here, or something like that.
Yeah, that was, everybody went inside after Wayne.
All right. So basically, that was just for the bus driver, day 71. Just kind of wanted to introduce to you some of the stuff that, you know, our lovely Judge G just kind of like skated through. This is also the day, if I'm not mistaken, Dennis comes on stand for the first time.
Of my client that was the subject of litigation, the game video in the car.
Sure.
Okay. It won't be coming in today. I would like to be heard regarding possible limiting instructions and the like.
All right. So this is the
And
infamous
last name Dennis,
Dennis.
Dennis.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
So
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Was that 10 years prior to 2015 or 10 years starting from a particular date?
Probably since I came on, I worked at Club Compound.
So
So that's 10 years prior.
looking at Exhibit 6, the demonstrative that is already been admitted, you recognize that area as well?
Yes.
Does that area accurately reflects where you were working on April 25th, 2015?
Yes.
Looking at State Exhibit 22 Echo, do you recognize the area depicted in State Exhibit 22 Echo?
Yes, other than the bike lanes and all that, that wasn't there.
All right. Does the area depicting Club Compound accurately reflect the way you recall looking?
Yes.
And looking at State 20 Echo, does that area accurately reflect the way you recall?
all right. You know what? It's kind of getting late here. I got to go to work in the morning, but I'm going to leave it there. I'm actually going to go through and clip part of that I want to stream because I just want to show you guys how it was so easy for Dennis to get himself kicked out the trial with Doug Whitaker. Because the way he addressed situations in that time on stand was very similar to how he did it with Judge Glanville on stand. The difference was Judge Whitaker was tired, over it, annoyed, and just ready to get her done. And not only that, but the way the state kept conducting themselves, Judge Whitaker had to start doing something to let them know this is not the way that you try a case. Again, hopefully this next trial will go a lot differently, but if Love and God, what is her name? I can't even think about it. I can't even think of her name right now. But what's her name? Hilton. If them are the two that's still first and second chair, it may. I doubt Love is, but I'm fairly certain Hilton will be the lead prosecutor for the most part. But we'll see how it goes. Guys, I really want to thank you for tuning in with me today. Hello. I really, really, really do appreciate you. If you watch this on the replay, today was just a lot of, I wanted to go over that day 71. A witness that was supposed to come on a stand, testify about a situation that happened, but turned into a little bit of a S show because this witness gets on the stand, they start crying. This witness has a $30 million lawsuit against Young Thug, even though he has absolutely no, he wasn't there for the situation. The situation did not involve him in the slightest. Neither did it involve Birdman Williams. But, however, they are still subject to his lawsuit. I think what we'll do for Sunday, we'll do a little bitty. I want to do no more than a 10-minute segment of the dentist testimony. And then we'll kind of see what happens for the week. Cause I'm trying to rehash the old, but new just keep popping up. I'm not gonna lie when I'm saying I'm a little bit like, I really am a little perturbed with the whole Woody and Shell situation starting to resurface again, just because these men are in two different places in their life. Oh, you are absolutely okay, Miss Kiani. You're absolutely fine. I just was get ready for work. But I want to go live on Sunday. Hopefully after New Year, I can get back to my Saturday lives. But we'll go live on Sunday. I'm gonna shoot for 4:00. Just because I be trying to put the little ones to sleep, but I am not gonna lie to you. If I get them to sleep early, I'm gonna go live earlier. But I may go live tomorrow because it's New Year's Eve, and hell, I don't party, so why not? But I want to kind of like recap some of the things that's happened as they happen. So yeah, we'll do that. But again, I appreciate all of you for sticking it out with me. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. I know I've been a little inconsistent lately. That will change. I'm getting my school schedule lined up. My transition in work has happened. And so things should be getting back to normal in my unnormal life. And we'll keep it popping and keep moving forward. And you guys are the best. You have, let's say, if nothing else, doing this has gave me courage. You guys have inspired me to just want to be better and to follow her dreams. And I appreciate you guys for that, because I appreciate you. I don't know. I can't even explain to you how much I appreciate you. This started from the YSL trial, but I also know that it can be so much more than that. And I was always so hesitant and keep telling myself, no, don't do it. So many other people are doing it. So many other people are doing this type of content, that type of content. But I know that we all offer something uniquely different. And I just appreciate everyone who's tuned in to me, that's encouraged me, that's listened and allowed me to just be myself and express myself with everyone else. You truly do not know how you have been affected and continue to affect my life, even when I log on to stream, but my heart and mind are so heavy, and I just release things that are going on in my day, and you guys are so accepting of me and just allow me to share with you my reality. And I truly do appreciate it. And it's been wonderful. So with that being said, tomorrow being New Year's Eve, I will probably go ahead and do a live tomorrow. Just, if nothing else, just because I want to share it with my YouTube family. And, maybe we can do a little midnight tea countdown if I'm not doing anything else. I don't think I will be, but so if I'm not, I'm going to go live and we'll just be with each other. You know what I mean? But otherwise, tune in on Sunday. We're going to come back. I'm going to have some actual clips together that I want to go over, but we'll also kind of keep track of whatever happens this week. We'll discuss, we'll go over, and then whatever else you guys just want to chit chat about, even if it's just about your day, whatever's going on. I want to send my love again to Kristen this week. I know she's been going through a lot, and let her know that our thoughts and prayers are with her, and just encouraging words. Girl, we love you, and everything's going to be okay. Just stay strong, Miss Lady. Thank you. I appreciate everyone who loves watching and being here with me and my crazy family. I appreciate you all. I love you all. We'll be back and we'll coast through the new year, because one thing I am going to do is finish everything I start. And besides, I graduate this year, so yeah. That's another little celebration for me, but I'll keep you all updated with that process as well. Love you guys. Talk to you later. I'm gonna finish cleaning and then get ready for bed and work. Bye.